Welcome to the Krusher Show. You're listening to 107.9 FM, KLNXLP, Radio Free Minturn. My name is Krusher Jones. You're welcome to the Krusher Show. We got a few special guests today. We got honorary members of the First Chair Cruise all around Colorado and worldwide, I guess we should say, right? We got Tom.
Hey, Trailer Tom in the house.
Trailer Tom's in the house. We got Nate Dogg in the house. So, yeah, turn that guy up.
With 4 Gs.
Nate with 4 Gs. And we just had to play Nate's song, the Regulate song. Talk to me about that song, Nate. Why is it your theme song? We know you're Nate, 4 Gs, but explain.
Well, it was, every Nate growing up in the 90s had the nickname Nate Dogg.
Right.
And when I started becoming or trying to become a professional cool guy snowboarder, I told my mom to Google me, right? But Nate Dogg always was the rapper with Warren G, so I had to put those 2 Gs on the end of it because I never called my mom, so at least that way she'd figure out what I was doing.
Right. And Todd, how'd you get the nickname?
Oh, that's a long story, but you might say Trailer Tom Vail Valley 2023 as your Gmail account or something.
Right.
So that was part of it, growing up in the trailer park there for a few years.
Yeah,
but
I'm
also
a trailer kid too myself.
Right.
Yeah.
We have that in common. See where we end up here.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
But then also early on social media, you were a little bit nervous putting your real name out there online, so had to use some sort of nickname or handle.
For sure.
That's part of it. There's also my name is Tom Miller, so there's lots of Tom Millers in Summit County and obviously in the world. So another way just to distinguish.
And then we got Jonathan in house from High Five Media being our special MC tonight. John, do you have a nickname?
I have many nicknames.
Give us a few, man.
So for now, I'm Jonathan 0 Gs.
0 Gs?
There's no Gs in Jonathan.
Nate took them all.
Yes, and he deserves them all. He has earned each one of those Gs, I'm pretty sure.
No, they definitely earned them, for sure.
So from my peoples back home in the South, I go by Joe Nathan.
That's a good one. Joe Nathan.
It's even spelled the same for ease.
Oh, my goodness. That's great.
We do a lot of science fiction theme things here, but I heard Jonatron, perhaps?
Jonatron is a name I've gone by in the past and maybe the future.
That's a good one. That could be your WWE name. Right?
You gotta have one, at least.
Is John going to be a wrestler?
He could be.
I was told I'd be wrestling Nate Dogg 4 Gs tonight. That's why I'm here.
Sumo match.
For those of you that are listening and can't see John, he is quite ripped. He could definitely be in the WWE, WWF, MMA, all of the above. I wouldn't want to fight him. I'm glad he's my friend.
And then
so far.
The reason we're here, we're ending the season off with the same guys we started the season with. We started off with Pinpin 20, correct? Battle for the First Chair. DVD release. We came on and it had just released and you were doing a few shows. How did it all turn out during the season? How did it go?
We did really well with all the premieres. Season was unbelievable, I'd say. Lots of fresh powder and lots of great filming.
Right.
Good time with friends. And now with the close of the season, bittersweet, but got to close it up so we can have another first chair. Start the preparation day after closing.
So Vail and Beaver Creek are closed. Is Arrowhead, all your local spots closed also?
Negative. So Arapahoe Basin, Loveland Ski Area, Copper Mountain, and Breckenridge are still rolling.
So how long? And one is going until late May, I heard. A Basin, right?
So, Breckenridge always tries to claim making it till Memorial Day weekend, which is that last weekend.
Right.
Arapahoe Basin, it just depends on the snow melt, because we've done Last Chair at Arapahoe Basin 4th of July.
Wow.
So
I guess that's been in the past 15, 20 years that's happened.
But that's
and maybe this year again. Who knows?
But that's a struggle. That's a long season.
Right. You got to rest a little bit, right?
You got to. We live here for summers as well, so you got to start getting into your summer mode so you can enjoy that winter.
No, 100%. You do get cabin fever and just want that snow to go away. You've had enough. So that was going to be another question. You had talked about Last Chair. And I was going to ask you, is that another concept for maybe another movie, The Last Chair Brigade?
Absolutely. We are toying with different titles for a sequel. Last Chair somehow worked into that title, could be up in the runnings there.
Sure.
We also thought about Second Chair Nightmare.
Second Chair Nightmare.
You waited in line and gosh, you missed that first chair. Or you got there just a little too late.
That's good.
Second chair is still fun, but you weren't on that first chair.
No, I understand. And the Last Chair crew also, though, is you can be first chair, but did you make it all the way through the season, and get that last chair? That's kind of the conclusion to that badge, right?
One of my biggest sells on first chair is remembering, you haven't been on a hill for months. So be safe those first turns. Right. You don't want to be injured the whole season because you're so pumped up on first day, first chair. So making it to the end of the year definitely is a goal.
Sure. Yeah. For everyone on the hill, be safe out there. Wear your helmets, right? I mean, that's and bend your knees is what I was told.
Safety third. I hear there's a song about bending your knees. Some good coaching there.
Yeah. So you're robot overlords. Yeah.
Robot overlords. That's
the X crew. I wish I had news for that. I just heard they kind of split up. I don't know.
News to me. Hopefully not.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. But, guys, so movie came out, DVD came out beginning of the season, but what just came out, I got a new CD, some tracks from a really great group, and they all came from the movie. Is that correct?
Met a guy in Mount Hood, Oregon, named Chris James. We started snowboarding together. And I was telling him about this project. He's a musician. And so he did the score for the most recent film, Battle for First Chair, Opening Day Dreams, Pinpin 20. And so he released an album that's quite a few of those tracks from that film, but also some additional tracks and some remastered tracks. But the album was just released. It's meant for skiers and snowboarders. It's in the sci-fi realm. Synthwave is the name of the genre or the style. But yeah, it's a great
definitely
album. Check it out.
Good riding music, just good. I don't know what. Yeah, what do you call it? Synthwave.
Synthwave, yes.
Yeah, that's a good.
But it is meant to put on that first chair in the morning, that first track, and listen all the way through. Progress throughout your day was his intention for.
Yeah, we'll play some of those tracks actually now, and then we'll come back after we play a few, maybe the whole album. So let's get into that, and we'll come back with the guys.
Today's broadcast on Radio Free Minturn is made possible in part by Rocky Mountain Taco. Enjoy delicious Mexican food and drink for lunch or dinner at their locations in Minturn, Eagle Vale, and Avon.
Yeah, that's the spot to go to. That is the spot. What a good reading, man. Gave it some authentic flavor there.
I was actually practicing the entire time that music was playing. I was just closing my eyes and just...
The music is great. We were talking about it. And Tom, give me the name of the album again and the genre of music it was in.
The genre is synthwave. The name of the album.
His name is trailertom. Can you put some respect on his name, please?
Trailertom. Sir Tom.
Yes. So okay, thank you. Now. The name of the genre is synthwave, but it is meant for the ski and snowboard crowd.
Right.
And the name of the album is Far Out One. It's on all your major streaming platforms.
Yeah, we just listened to it on Apple Music, so it's pretty easy to get to.
You can also stream it on Spotify.
What is the name? Say, I have trouble pronouncing it. My tongue's too big for my mouth.
Duralumin.
And what does that mean? It's an actual word. It's not a made-up word like some other bands are, I guess.
It is an actual metal, and it was really spun off from that with
right.
Some metal, you heard some guitar in there, and some synth. So yeah, that's really part of where that came from.
Good.
I will say this isn't. I've enjoyed listening to the tunes, and I don't snowboard or ski.
Right.
But I used to play SSX Tricky on the Nintendo GameCube.
Sure.
And so I do remember zoning out, and the music sounded very similar. So I can see the vibes would be there. If this is your jam and you're riding down the mountain, it seems like that would get you there.
No, it's definitely good pump stuff. Get you going, get you flowing. And Nate, is it your kind of music?
I'm kind of all over on music-wise.
Right.
But it's like, for me, on a normal blue sky groomer day, I love my 90s hip-hop for sure. But when it's like a big, deep, calm powder day and you're making those nice, smooth, relaxing turns and just enjoying your day, this music will really just kind of like, you ride to what's pumping in your head. So if you were listening to that 90s punk rock, that Rancid, that stuff like that, you know, you're riding fast and aggressive and having tons of fun, but like you just change your music to your environment and it helps you get through your day.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's kind of the cornerstone of riding. Even by yourself, it's what you got playing and what you like. Music kind of drives everything.
Well, I was curious as a video person myself, would you guys consider yourselves like filmmakers who happen to snowboard, or were you snowboarding and were like, hey, somebody with a camera can do this? Like, I'm curious as to what was kind of happened first, or if it was more of a mutual discovery sort of deal.
When we first started our snowboarding journey, you know, snowboard videos just started blooming. This is, you know, Glenn Plake and Warren Miller had all their ski videos going on, but there wasn't much as far as snowboarding was concerned. So we kind of took it upon ourselves to document our fun and joys, and then tried to put it out to help everybody enjoy our lifestyle and show everybody, hey, this is what snowboarding's about. It's about the camaraderie with friends as well as the excitement and the energy used every day.
Sweet. So this is the battle for first chair. As a non mountain snow sport person, I'm wondering, you know, if that's the premise of the film, and obviously there's some history and story further. You know, that's probably what the film is about, I'm guessing. But for someone like me, like explain to me like what's special about first chair or last chair opening of a season sort of deal in the skier or snowboarder community?
Well, something I always say to the news media every year when they come see us, what's so important about first chair? Our answer is no matter who goes skiing or snowboarding throughout the year, we can say we did it first. We were first in line. We started the season. We started the hype. We started the pump and the energy to get everybody's season started. And, you know, making it to that last chair is always the goal. Injury-free with a smile on your face.
If you didn't grow up in the mountain community, you may not realize that we live by season to season here. So that first chair of the season on opening day is like a fresh start. So an analogy would be to a holiday similar to New Year's Eve. It's just another day, but really a fresh start. And
well, it's something you start thinking about when they put passes on sale this spring, you know? So, like, as a young kid, as soon as you got your pass, your mind was on the mountain, even though it wasn't open. So to get first chair is kind of, you're baptizing the place, you know? It's yours, per se, and it's about the stoke, like you guys said. You know, spreading that is great, too. How many mountains How many chairs did you get this year? Well, how many different spots?
So for first chairs on opening day for myself, it was 5. All were a blast. All were different. Some were freezing cold weather. Some were powder days. Some were just all man-made snow. Everywhere in between. All a good time.
I think the big thing about first chair is first chair, the very first one of the season, is obviously the most important. But then we make it a game like, how many more can we get this year?
Right.
You know, like Trailer Tom, he got 7 last year. It's insane. Like, imagine the drive it takes to, like, drive to a resort 2 hours away, sleep in the chairlift line for 2 days to get first chair. And it isn't even the first chair of the season. It's just the first chair of that resort.
Right.
So, like, you know, Vail Valley, you guys got your crew of good kids over here. And, you know, that gondola one opens. You got your 8 people there ready to go.
Right.
And being just a part of that crew.
Our homie
like,
Cesar.
It's so fun. And Cesar comes over to the summit side.
Yeah.
You know, he'll do first chair at Keystone and sometimes A-Basin and sometimes Breck. So it's more a first chair family, we call it, because we're the same people, the same year, and we're on the same life goal of just like getting our feet on snow and enjoying it.
And this all breaks down to the movie, Battle for First Chair. And you have characters in these movies. The TT119 is the main character, right? And I just asked you, what does it stand for? So you, Trailer Tom, and then the 119, what does that mean?
You are correct. Yeah, TT119 is one of the main characters. For those non-skiers and snowboarders, we call those folks the civilians. So for the civilians, they know what robots are. They know what astronauts are.
Right.
So he is a robot astronaut. He's a map maker. But anyway, the 119 specifically, there was a famous mathematician named Ramanujan that came up with something called a magic square. And everyone has a number that they can come up with. It's really based on the day you were born. So it's all based on your birth date. But my lucky number, you could call it, my magic number is 119. So that's where the robot character's name was inspired by.
I really respect it because he maps the universe, and he's here on Earth mapping the terrain.
He is gathering the data.
That's what he's doing throughout the movie is gathering the data on this precise machine. What is the machine called? I seen it. It's here.
The machine is called the Map Maker.
The Map Maker. It's here. I seen it.
It's in the studio.
And I think TT119 was in here also.
TT was in here earlier. I'm not sure where he ended up, but
hopefully he'll come
was
back.
Rocking the Map Maker.
Yeah.
The Map Maker looks a lot like a vacuum cleaner part, but it's really just a disguise.
Yeah, I seen that.
If you just walked around with a map maker from another dimension, people are going to freak out.
Yeah, it's more intricate than just a vacuum.
Yeah, I mean, a vacuum cleaner, not such an odd thing. Most people have one of those in their home.
And it could be he's out there just vacuuming, cleaning up stuff, not you know. And then we also have a bad guy in the film, Red Ice.
Correct, Red Ice. Now, Red Ice is a human. And so there's a little bit of a battle there. Human versus machine.
Sure.
The classic, you know.
So is Red Ice naturally a bad character? Is because he's TT119 he's in a spacesuit, looks like the hero or whatever, and Red Ice looks like a traditional villain. As a comic book guy, is that
common themes there, but this is one of those where you have to watch the movie to check it out.
There we go.
If someone wanted to watch the movie, would be the official name of it, and on what platforms could they check it out?
Official name of the film is The Battle for First Chair, Opening Day Dreams, Pinpin 20. We couldn't decide on one name, so we just jammed them all in there.
Can I do it with like my movie announcer voice?
Please.
Battle First Chair.
Opening Day Dreams.
Coming to you soon this summer.
on streaming platforms across the galactic universe. The battle for first chair. Opening day dreams. Something Pinpin 199 220 2420.
Nailed it.
So we have a caller. Caller, what's going on? Oh, you got to talk a little louder, caller. Oh yeah, we can hear it.
What's up, Coach Rob? How's your trip going?
Trip is going good. Got here this afternoon. Caught a few waves this evening. Just posted on the Colorado Skateboard site, Colorado Skateboard's Instagram, where we brought some boards to shops. There's a tattoo guy that's done some work on me, and I'm really excited. So you guys check out the Colorado Skateboard's Instagram page.
Definitely will. The world famous Rob Bach. He's worldwide.
So, Rob, how are you connected with this Battle for First Chair movie and the Pinpin whole universe?
Well, I've been fortunate enough to know TurboGrafx and Nate Dogg and all the crew for many years. And back in the day, had a few parts in Tom's Pinpin movies, and this latest one, we're all over 40 now. I'm going to be 46 on Friday. So a bunch of us had some good shredding. Gotta admit, Otterstrom and Brent Meyer had pretty wicked sweet parts in the Battle for First Chair. Now I'm just excited. Hopefully we can get into the next round, get some shots in the next movie.
Yeah, for sure. Keep this going. So you guys are 56 and 66 and, so on and so forth.
Yeah, man. So that's why with the resort closing down and snowboarding kind of coming to an end for the season, we got to come down to Mexico and surf some waves and skate. Places off.
Yeah, definitely check out. Definitely check out Colorado Skateboards.
Definitely check out Colorado Skateboards. And now even at the Los Rudos skate shop here, he's going to have a bunch of my boards in there tomorrow. So yeah, we're heating it up down here in Sayulita.
Man, you have a good time, and we'll get at you soon. Thanks for calling in, Rob.
Word, guys. Well, I wish I could be there sitting with you, giving you some high fives, but I'm glad I could make this phone call and be a part of the show tonight.
Yeah, we'll definitely call you back here in a couple minutes. Maybe we'll get a little clearer connection.
All right. Well, I am in a tight spot, and I'm at a place where there's a lot of loud music. So if I can't hear you, I just have to be here right now and be on the show. But try me back a little bit. I'll see what I can do.
I will for sure, man. You have a good one. Thanks for calling in, Rob. Well, Rob's had a few parts in your movie, so Rob is a frequent guest on our show.
Was he calling collect?
No, he called straight from. The collect calls will be a scary call. I don't want to call from Mexico collect.
I'd accept the charges.
So yeah, right. But yeah, guys. So where can we find the movies? Where can we find you guys on social media? Just fill us in. I mean, movie's been out for 6 months.
Came out, the very first premiere we did was in Las Vegas on May the 4th. So coming up on just about 1 year out. You can find the film on major streaming platforms. So a lot of people know Prime Video, or they call it Amazon Prime. If you have that, you can check it out on there. Tubi, pretty famous streaming platform. But there's a whole director's cut, which is on YouTube, on Jonathan Buckhouse YouTube channel. So Jonathan is also in the movie, and he's a local snowboarder. And whole film, director's cut, bonus footage is up on his channel. If you type in Jonathan Buckhouse on YouTube, search for sci-fi, SYFY, as in the sci-fi channel, you'll probably find it.
Yeah, and it's a really great movie to actually own. Get the Blu-ray, DVD, I know a lot of collectors out there that like to collect snowboard films, and it's one of them. And how many do we have, and how many do you plan on making?
The Blu-ray is a limited run, so only 1,000 of those made. So trying to have those collectors jam on any of those that they want. But digital, you can get in all those platforms, SD, HD, Blu-ray, 4K, all through Amazon on Prime Video.
Right on. Well, anything else to say, fellas? We're going to get into another music block and then come back. Give us about 20 minutes. Nate, we didn't get your socials. Where can we find?
Social security number is. I'm pretty mellow. My Insta is at Nate4G''S.
The number 4
Yep.
G's.
Because I guess Dogg with 4 G's was taken. I'm
Right.
slow on the social media. I try to just straight hype up through Trailer and Pinpin.
Well, it's always good to check your stuff out because you're out there every day doing what people love to do.
Yep, and I've got a fan page on Facebook as well that is
Wow.
Nate Dogg with 4 G's, Doggg. And then Trailer Tom is at Trailer Tom Snowboard Pinball with an underscore under each word. So Trailer _Tom _Snowboard _Pinball. I'm just checking it out. He follows a lot of people, and he's got a lot of followers, but he's following more. I'm on like the 10% rule, so I'm only allow myself to follow 10%
Of who's following you.
versus 10% or 100 times more following me.
Right.
But I'm mellow. Whatever.
Right.
It's social media is for the birds. I rarely post, but that's why I just press all my media over to Tom, and he'll blow it up.
Right. Tom does a great job. I mean, he runs a couple different channels, and they all are super updated, super exciting. Just doing it.
This guy's got 3 cell phones. He's got a personal one. He's got like his I'm gonna blow up Instagram, and then his work cell phone. So yeah, he's all about the media exposure.
He's awesome. We got like 4 or 5 cameras in here. We also have another person in here that we're kind of leaving out. Julia, how you doing?
Julia Gulia.
I'm good. Can I?
So,
my allergies voice right now.
Tell us who you are and what you got going on.
So Radio Free Minturn knows me as DJ Aromatics. Tune in Sundays at 4 p.m. We're playing a lot of similar stuff as Krusher, not as many deep cuts though.
Right.
We'll get there one day though.
Soon.
We'll get there one day.
Soon.
Yeah, my name is Julia though. I'm fairly new to the Valley. I moved here in July, but it's been fun. I like mountain towns a lot.
Well, I'm happy to have you on the radio,
Thank
and I'm
you.
happy to have you here tonight.
Thank you for having me, everyone.
Get to see all the guys and get to meet some true locals in the house.
Yeah.
And then Jonathan.
And Jonathan.
Yeah.
In a world where one DJ hosts another DJ, one civilian listens to 2 snowboarders make a movie about being on the radio.
There we go. And then, or a TV show to be on Hi-Fi Media, right?
Soon, radio on the TV.
Yeah, we'll do that. Great. But we got some more music coming on. We'll come back with the guys, and we'll get Julia to ask some questions.
Definitely.
Put your skills to use. All right, guys, we got some another deep cut of Gin and Juice by Snoop Dogg. Enjoy. Welcome back. You're listening to 107.9 FM KLNXLP Radio Free Minturn. You're listening to the Krusher Show with DJ Krusher Jones. In house tonight, we got a few great guests. We got Trailer Tom, Nate, 4 G's, the man, and we got Jonathan, and we got Julia in house. But we got the guys from Pinpin Films talking about their DVD that was released on May 4th. Is that a Star Wars reference in there? May the 4th be with you? Is that
A lot of love for Star Wars.
Right?
Absolutely. Yep. May the 4th be with you.
Yeah, I got that.
I was actually going to ask you about that because when you were saying your character's name is it TT119? And you said it was dressed as like an astronaut or a robot. I was kind of getting Star Wars references. So I guess other than Star Wars, were there any like influences onto the movie? Also, I would love a little background. Like I came in as a blank slate, how you guys met, how you guys decided to make a snowboard, like actually like movie with a story, with a good story.
So yeah, so she's a true rookie.
Yeah.
Fill her in with the whole concept of the movie. And
always really enjoyed sci-fi, so other big inspirations for this film were 2001 Space Odyssey, fan of Stanley Kubrick in general, but that was a huge one. Also Inception and all the Matrix movies. So you get all those wrapped into one. And so TT119 robot theme. Krusher was asking about good character, bad characters in the film, and right now we're dealing with a lot of human versus AI. Where's that going to go? So there's lots of those things in there, and who is really good and who is really bad. And people can be good or people can be bad. Nate and I met. I'll let Nate take this story. It's been a few years.
I don't even remember how we met or when we met anymore. It's honestly been so long. It doesn't matter. We're friends for life. We've been friends for too many years, or not enough years. But I think that besides the new movie First Chair Dreams and all that, Tom's been making snowboard films for over 20 years. Hence, Pinpin 20. This is like the 20th version of films. So he has been making films since the age of probably 10 on his dad's VHS recorder hanging on his shoulder. So he's been in the film industry, if you never got paid, but he's had fun with it since many moons ago.
well, and those films, snowboard films and stuff like that you make are more precious to us guys that live up here. And it's more, you may not get paid as much, but they mean as much as just a normal everyday film, you know? Because local guys, I remember premieres going on. I think Pinpin, the original one, was played up here. Am I at 8150? Am I wrong?
Yeah, we had snowboard video premieres everywhere from Shotgun Willie's in Denver
Sure.
to everywhere in Breckenridge to 8150 in Vail.
Yeah, I remember those days.
Just promoting the sales of VHS tapes as much as we could.
Hey, packed house. 8150 was packed. Everybody's sitting on the floor watching the movie on a screen, and then just having a good time afterwards. Give snowboard giveaways and.
Well, that's what the ski snowboard community always was. Your friends building up, and it's the same thing as how First Chair starts the season for skiers and snowboarders. The snowboard video premiere season was always huge as well, because these videos came out a month before the ski season opened.
Right.
So that's just even more of a drive and a pump to like get you hyped to get your snow gear back on, to get back playing in the snow.
Back to Julia's original question on how we met. We got to rewind way back to the 1900s. So we're talking 24 years ago ish.
Rewind.
We would do snowboard competitions, and our team in Summit here just happened to get a condo at one of the national events next to a bunch of guys from Minnesota. So during the contest, there was this incredibly talented snowboarder, still is, named Chad Otterstrom. Who is this guy? Happened to be staying right next to us. And so through Chad, we met Jake Weber, Jason Landry, Nate Dogg, Ryan Napton, Matt Peterson. So a whole crew, and we just became friends ever since. That crew moved out to the Summit County area, and the rest was history.
Great. Thank you for sharing.
It's good history. It's our history, right? I mean, mountain history. It's it's a whole new cultural movement that some people just don't understand unless you live here. There's a certain way you dress, certain way you talk. Not necessarily looking. We got a bunch of different characters out there, but just all about the stoke, right? I mean, it's all about getting yourself pumped up to go out there on the mountain, and that's why these movies are released a month or two before the season opens up. And then for you guys to do the first chair stuff, I mean, it's a genius move, you know what I mean? And to make it into a movie or a TV series or whatever, whatever you got going, it's totally genius.
Well, I will say as a civilian, I've been dubbed the civilian. While that may be true that there are special sort of qualities of what's going on up here in the community you guys create, I think there are elements of that in other communities, and I feel like people who are doing grassroots sort of things where whether you're starting a band with your friends or so growing up where I did, we didn't really have snowboarding or skiing, but there were like skaters, right? So like I have seen sort of similar elements in like kids who kind of come together skateboarding because it's just something to do besides like vandalism or whatever.
Well,
but the same sort of thing, right? It becomes a tight-knit community. Guys, I know guys who, started their video careers doing skate videos, and they were just trying to learn simple tricks and got their dad's, VHS camcorder and were making videos, and then they started cutting them together. And so I can see that there's elements of that. And just, meeting you guys tonight and talking to you and seeing how passionate you are about what you do, it reminds me of sort of other communities I've been a part of, whether it's friends who were skateboarders, hip-hop kids, graffiti artists.
That's kind of how it started. I mean, we had a bunch of skateboarders from the East Coast and skateboarders from all around that came here to learn how to snowboard back in the 80s. And then it came out from there. I mean, you had guys like a Mark Frank Montoya, a Denver City kid who skated his butt off, but then met some guy, gave him a snowboard, and came up here and just ripped it up. And now he's one of the most notable names on the snowboard circuit. And it was kind of the same thing. He was a skateboarder first and then came out here and learned the snowboard. Or not learned the snowboard, I guess, created that culture. There was a bunch of other guys, of course, but that one name that comes to mind, guys like Chad Otterstrom, JJ Thomas, the Rob Box, the guys that came out here and continue to stoke that culture, and with you guys in the same realm. I mean, you guys are making films. Like I said, going to those movie premieres was a big thing for us. I mean, it was huge.
Well, every generation is different as well, right? So, when you started off with ski culture, you had Warren Miller breaking out these big ski films where everybody got pumped on Glenn Plake and his wicked hairdo and his screamer hat coming down the mountain. So every generation, when you talk about like Vail Valley and Summit County, from the beginnings of snowboarding, the Nate Coles, the Roan Rogers, the Tarquin Robbins, the Todd Richards, like all of the OGs that started bringing in this true skate style into snowboarding, and also bringing in a brotherhood of like snowboarding being a new sport, was just huge. And I think making films was a great way to document not so much the snowboarding, but like your friendship and your love for not just the sport, but like the people around you. And for you to hold those memories onto your VHS tape or your high 8 once you got high class and made that money. So there's that was like a huge drive in my eyes of always wanted to be on camera. Is like, my memory is horrible, but gosh, I can watch this tape from.
I want my homies to see what I just did, and putting it all together and then putting it all into a film. I mean, everybody enjoying that film is just, and it's a notch in history. You'll never forget that moment in time. Those May 4th will always be the day that Pinpin 20 came out with Battle of the First Chair. And that moment in history lives on in our town history, And
I just got a text from a random Minnesota number that wasn't saved in my phone from Minnesota.
Right.
And it was this kid, Tom Pock, that I grew up snowboarding with. And he's like, I have your VHS sponsor me video from 1993. I'm posting it on YouTube.
Please.
And I no, he already did, and then I shared it on my Facebook and whatever. But that's just it. This is a memory. Like, holy crap! This is us hiking a jump in our high school parking lot.
Right.
And it brought back some great feels and great memories. And
those movies also tie in what I love to do is I heard some of the best hip hop growing up on these snowboard films. And that kind of tied hip hop into the culture that I grew up in. So I found an outlet there and kind of stuck into that. And like we were talking, I don't know if any music now, the hip hop that comes out now would be on snowboard films, but we kind of I guess hip hop kind of found a new outlet with the snowboard and skateboard communities and got guys like me into it, I guess.
Well, it's also, we had that conversation earlier, how the music brings the vibe and the energy to whatever you're doing. So whether it be snowboarding or walking your dog, if you're going to walk faster if you're listening to Slayer,
right, versus,
Tribe Called Quest.
Right.
So everything brings that vibe, and it was kind of great because that early 90s snowboard culture was still on the underground. Same with a lot of that hip hop that was just coming through.
Yeah.
So that just kind of came hands in hand, where you had, your punk rock. There was no country except for Stevie Alters had like a one-line part riding on an airplane in the movie Anthem. See it?
Right.
This is the dumb stuff I know. But other than that, it was all like hip-hop, punk, and metal as far as snowboarding was concerned. And that was like, are you skate style? Are you riding 45-degree Alaska turns? Or are you just like jibbing, riding as fast as you can?
And they were the hype tracks. I mean, when you're putting that stuff to a snowboard film, it gives it that much more, more legs, I guess. And it gets that song even more pumped because you saw your favorite rider do something to that song, and that song sticks to you a little bit more, and you've listened to that song and go try and do what that snowboarder did, you know what I mean? And it goes hand in hand. And you, with the CD release also, or the music release from the movie, it's hand in hand. It's a great music to fit with the great movie, so.
A lot of it's similar to this radio show of melding a lot of different types of cultures and arts together. And so you'll have graphic designers, and you'll have the music side, and you'll have the talent of the athletes, as they're called now. But yeah, that's all part of the camaraderie, I guess, bringing that all together.
Right, yeah. I mean, that's what it is. Rob breaks it down really easy, and it's just all about the stoke. What gets you pumped to get out there and ride and do what you love, and then the filming of it is kind of a bonus, because you guys are out there living a healthy lifestyle. You're going out there riding every day, doing what you do, and for young kids, what more could you not want? You get your kid out there doing something, just like the skating kids. Maybe they were looked bad at one point, but those kids are out there. I think skating kids and snowboard kids are the most durable kids out there. They fall on a trick, get back up and do that trick again and again and again and again until they get that trick and their mind doesn't break. So it creates a very strong-willed person, you know what I mean? So.
Can I kick it?
Yes, you can.
So I really appreciate what you were talking about, how listening to those, watching those videos and listening to that music. I mean, here you are, you're a DJ, you have a show, you're sort of melding, exactly like you were saying, Trailer Tom, the different cultures and aspects of it. And I think that's super fascinating how you could be into one part of it, and that's your introduction to the other parts, right? So for like someone like me, like I might be into hip hop and not necessarily snowboarding. And so I'm scrolling through whatever, I hear a hip hop song, I see some dude doing tricks to, one of my favorite tracks. And instantly, even though I've, haven't snowboarded in my life, I'm like, oh, this dude gets me because, he picked this song to like run this track to, or go for that trick or that run. And so I'm instantly connected to the snowboarder via the music.
Well, that's exactly the way it was.
Or via the camera guy, right? Like I've done like skate videos for some of my friends. So for me to potentially get into snowboarding, I would certainly be probably on the video side of it, like trying to, because my athlete days are behind me. But I could probably slowly S my way down a hill with a camera footage, right? and help, and that'd be the way that I would think that I would contribute to that community, right? It's like, okay, I can do this part, you do you, and I got to shout out Grandpappy in Asheville for that one. So you do you do your thing, I'll do mine, and I like that. That's how that community sort of forms and grows, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what it was those tracks kind of made that movie, and they made that ride of that person's ride their own, and yeah, like you said, it's an introduction. So I'm sure songs are kind of hard to pick, but they picked the best. I can't name a movie that there was a track that I didn't like. The snowboarding made the track even better sometimes, So with your movie, we got some new music that I would probably never have listened to before, but now it's on the radar, and it's got definitely a certain purpose for it.
This was definitely a different track and a different route we have gone. We hadn't gone the whole have one artist score the whole film before.
Right.
But it was kind of like how hip-hop, you could, as that music genre was starting out, you could really sample anything, and now you have copyright for you name it, and it's much more hard to sample. So there was a lot of that side when we were first starting out with the snowboard films. We could really pick just about any track that we wanted, and there was a lot of folks that were looking down on snowboarders. Just these guys are, this whole crew are punks and degenerates and wastoids, knuckle draggers, just jerks. And
well, it was illegal in Aspen. I think Beaver Creek was the first mountain to legalize snowboarding. I don't know if that's true, but it's one of the. We'll see you later, Julia. Thanks for coming in. You have a good one.
Ski Cooper.
That's exactly what I was gonna. I didn't want to say Beaver Creek. I knew it was close. Right up the street, Cooper. It's not Copper, Cooper.
COOPER.
Yes.
Not COPPER.
Yep, and that's like there's the biggest contest in the world held at Ski Cooper.
Jake Burton was there competing.
It was East versus West. You had Barfoot, Sims, and Burton.
Right.
Like all the big wigs.
And they made another snowboard movie out of that whole contest too. I believe.
I can't believe people wrote those things, but it got us to where we are today.
Oh my goodness! Right. It pretty much. It was like. What were the bindings? It was like
there was different versions.
Water ski bindings is that what I'm remembering?
No, there was a like the back of a slalom water ski binding.
Yes,
used to be on there, but people used to have bungee straps that were kind of like held down, and then golf shoe like the spikes on golf shoes
nailed in
upside down onto the top sheet of a board. Just to hold your grip. So yeah,
and then you had a strap, and
you had a little leash with a handle at the front. But yeah, the pioneers of those days, just getting things ready to where we are today, and the technology where we've gone is insane.
I think it was a lot of pioneering and really counterculture. So whether it was hip-hop coming up at that time, or the skateboarders, or the snowboarders, or maybe death metal, it all had to go through this evolving stages, and it's pretty interesting to watch that whole thing play out.
Well, and you guys are making that history. You guys are making that your how do you say it? It's your stamp of it. Legacy. Yeah. The Pinpin movies being Pinpin 20, that's 20 years of you documenting the cool stuff you do, and a lot of people enjoying that with you.
Many things have changed over those 2 decades in in the music world and in the snowboard world. But what's really cool is keeping that same crew together. Of course, new ones come in,
right,
and some people come and go, but pretty tight crew for all of those films all these years.
Yeah, you want to give some of those guys a shout out? Who are we talking? I mean, we got, of course, Nate in house. We talked about Cesar, JJ Thomas, Chad Otterstrom. Help me out here.
So Ryan Napton, Brent Meyer, Jeff Meyer, Fedge Kanar, a.k.a. Jeffrey Rank. You got so many to name here. Come and gone.
So first ones, Chado, Matt Peterson, Jason Landry, Jake Weber. And I'm just going through some of my households growing up.
Yeah, right. That's what you have to do.
Where you went into. Then you had your East Side people, your Rob Box, your Cesars. But then in the first years of Pinpin, we had a lot of just CJ Marsh. Who's that guy? Where is he at? Who are in the first years?
So even Steve Fisher or
Jeff Christofferson.
Crew just grows and grows, and some will come and go, like I say.
Right. It evolves, right?
Yeah, but who we just named off are more of the core. They've been part of every single film,
and they've joined us on first chairs, if not on the chair behind us or the same one we're on. It's all kind of leads back to that same family value. Your friends on hill, off hill, the start of the season, the end of the season, the barbecue in your backyard. These are, friends come and go, but they're the same core people.
Right.
And although Nader and I have been known for our first chair adventures, we have done other things in snowboarding as well. But like Chad Otterstrom, he's done over a decade of first chairs with us. So it's one thing that he does in the snowboard world.
Right.
The guy's a legend
the
in
guy,
all parts of snowboarding.
Every day is just posting something I wish I could do. Just constantly big, fatty turns.
When you talk about longevity of a pro snowboarder, it's not that long.
Right.
Like Shaun White in his prime, 10 years?
Maybe.
No, I think he was.
Well, yeah, but
I think he's doing well, right? But he started young. But Chad, his first pro model came out in 1993.
Right.
Okay, what year are we in? 2023. 30 years? Is that my math? 30 years of a professional snowboarding that's unheard of.
Yeah, his stuff is. You see it there first. Yeah, just the guy is epic, and it's kind of, having Buzz Slepper in here. I was kind of talking to you guys about him being 70 some years old and being up 170 days this year. It's kind of like the culture can keep going as long as you guys can keep making first chair, and the other stuff is kind of like it's built to punk, hip hop, whatever. There's also other stuff that goes into it. First chair is one part of it. And then you got guys like Chad who do first chair and this and this and this and this, And like 1993, is that for real?
Kingpin Snowboards, I can guarantee you is at least 95.
Right.
But maybe a few years earlier.
Well, you would know. I know we were talking about you collect all the old snowboards, so you would probably know way better than me.
And I don't have a single Kingpin snowboard, but I'm just waiting for Chad to pass all of his on to me.
There you go.
So I had sort of a thought, and excuse me if this is extremely like deep nerd, but do like trading cards exist for snowboarders? Because I'm sitting here thinking, I'm listening to you guys talk, and it sounds like I'm picturing in my head like as like a collector person.
Ooh.
Like you're talking about like cool photos, and then on the back
stats.
First person to ever do this, or second person to ever do this, or the only people in the history of the world to ever have a 30-year consecutive first chair run. These are the sorts of things that I think would be cool, like to maybe consider if no one has done it. I'll put it out there right now. That's a freebie right now.
There
I
you
give
go.
one. I give one freebie.
I think I saw some bells going
one
on.
freebie
Tom's
for every
line,
show,
right?
but I think that'd be pretty sick because people have videos, people have Wikipedia pages, but like the
Ooh.
guys who were a part of, like you guys, where this is you rattled off like 15 names without even thinking about it because you lived it, right? So it's like those are the sorts of things that like a casual person or somebody who's just getting into it as a kid, like, oh man, that'd be cool if
fun
I
to
got like,
collect.
oh man,
Yeah.
I've got a Shaun White rookie card or whatever, like, or I have like, I just watched a documentary on, is the guy's name Kevin Pierce?
Yep.
The crash reel. I just watched that. First time I'd ever even heard of that story, and it was like, I mean, it's something to memorialize people that is beyond just sort of.
I think that's a great
shows or something.
idea.
So that's my bright idea for today.
That's
Go do it.
definitely bright. We got daytime in here. That I think that would be a kind of a build up to the next movie, right? Trading cards.
So I don't know if I think they did have trading cards late 90s, and I think they had action figures.
Those are
Oh, that's
right.
sick.
So they had.
I'm a
action,
vinyl toy collector. I love those things. I would
Yep,
do
so
that.
you could get a Jeremy Jones action figure, the rail Jeremy Jones, not the big
Yeah.
powder guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Peter Line I think had one. Terrier had an action figure.
Terje did? That
Yeah.
was freaking
So yeah, I think it's come and gone. I don't know about playing cards,
about longevity of it,
but
right?
do kids even play with baseball cards and football cards?
Yeah,
anymore?
it's a big thing right now. It's huge right now. We were talking about the Jordans.
Yeah.
There's this whole What's Not app, and people are buying and trading all collectible stuff again. Like collectibles are a thing now again.
On the digital side, though, yeah, there are definitely action figures out there. My other geeky hobby is pinball. We were checking out the pinball machine next door, and there are pinball trading cards. So I think if it can be done in that sport, it can also be done in the skiing and snowboard world as well. I'd be a collector. I'd like to see some of my friends on those cards, and I'd collect them up.
Let's start making them. That'd be great. Well, maybe that's where Jonathan comes in.
The $1 billion idea, man. At least one a day.
It's free now, so
It's free. It's open. It's up in the air. So come on, whoever's
I'm an
out there.
open source idea.
There you go, man. One free $1 billion idea a day. Who wants it? Who's going to take it?
Well, if nothing else, I mean, the idea is to honor the history and pay homage like your friends, and like you said, like be able to see people you know and do cards. Like I think it'd be cool, but I don't have I lack the skill set for graphic design. So, and I literally have no. You guys are the only two snowboarders I know. And we just met like 3 hours ago.
What would that look like? What does it take to get on a card? Because if you look at the list of, let's just say, snowboarders who have had a pro model snowboard, that's 300 people right there.
Right.
You know, so like that's just a pro model snowboard. But there's tons of people who have not had a pro model snowboard, but have had
The Never Summer sponsorship.
well,
or-
a heavy accolade.
yeah.
Right, besides just a first chair. But let's look at I don't even know why I'm spacing his name right now, and I'm so sad. The first gentleman to snowboard down Mount Kilimanjaro. I actually have his personal snowboard that he gifted to me. But like, does he get a trading card?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Like, how first guy to do Kilimanjaro? That's awesome.
Right. Yeah.
Like, but how do you delegate? There's so many. First person to do a backside lip slide on a 10-foot rail. I don't. Does that count, or is that pretty bad?
Would it be? You'd have to allow different resorts to do different cards. I would say, right? So
now you're putting it in the hand of resorts. Like,
no. Like resort towns. Let's say that. So like our community, you would have.
You could have a centric, like a Vail centric, Avon centric, Breckenridge centric, whatever. Like
Sure.
it could be like the legends of Breckenridge.
Right.
So town trading cards.
Yeah, and then you
Kinda
could
like when
trade
you-
with other towns.
Kind of like when you were a nerd as a kid and you wanted that pin from Wisconsin Dells.
Sure,
or
but say these
Disney.
trading cards have the rider on there and then the trick on there, but also a link to where they can see the actual trick being
And go learn it.
and being done, or and then go learn the trick.
Jeez, this is quite the brainstorming session.
I like this. I'm in it.
With Nate's extensive history making snowboard
He's
collection,
thinking about it too, right?
thinking about a museum of some kind. So it could be a museum or a Hall of Fame. How do you get inducted into those?
Yeah,
what
Hall of Fame.
What are the stats? What did you do? What?
And the first guy to ski or snowboard Kilimanjaro that's the accolade, right? I mean, he's first chair.
First descent.
First descent. It doesn't matter how good I don't know if he was any good or not, but
He survived.
He did it.
He's pretty good.
Yeah, he survived.
Never be another first.
No, that's it. But that's a great freaking idea. You got me thinking now.
Well, you guys describing to me how it was illegal at some point to do it got me thinking like, oh, how cool of the history would that be to like honor the sort of like the trailblazers,
Right?
Like, and if it hasn't been said in a while, maybe it needs to be said again. Snowboarding is not a crime.
Right. So yeah, exactly.
It's an Olympic sport.
But not when we started. It was quite a controversy when that.
I can
all
imagine.
came around.
I remember snowboards didn't exist when I was a kid. We would just stand up on sleds, and for better or worse, some of those people aren't around anymore,
Right.
or their legs don't work quite the same way, or their brains. But
There was
I do remember like busting through, like you were talking about, like bungees through, or holding on to like the slave rope at the beginning of the thing and just going for it, man. So I can only imagine like living in a place like this where you have access to that. And then right as boom, the technology hits and it's like, holy crap, somebody designed it, somebody made it. Did you see that? That's crazy. Like, I bet I could do that. And then, it's like,
it was an uphill battle. The technology was there.
was that an intended fun or?
The stoke was there, but the skiers didn't like it.
And I'm not gonna lie, I preferred when snowboarding was a crime versus an Olympic sport.
Right, it gave more identity, I think, to things.
100%. Like you didn't care so much about the tricks as long as they were smooth looking.
Right.
Now we've got ballerina 2440s, triple cork, double butt grabs, whatever this trick is.
When just holding a big fat method in the air for as long as you can.
A Nate Cole backside 180, 50 feet, just smooth, and it can be like that for me is snowboarding. But I'm fat and old now too, so I don't got my ballerina skills anymore.
Right.
But yeah, I loved it better when we were a crime.
That makes sense. I mean, it gave it more character, but to have it evolve is something to be commended. I mean, it and to see, just like bring up Rob again, to see how many kids he coaches every year and what crazy things these kids are doing earlier and earlier every year. I mean, it's just insane.
Teaching is so rewarding. So you train those kids, and they end up in the X Games or they end up in the Olympics.
Right,
and
right.
Just quite an experience to have that.
And it's doing
Coaching.
a sport that's in our backyard. Like we've grown up in these places, and some kids don't realize that they need to, that there's all that out here. And maybe if one of you guys are listening and you guys want to get out there and ride and you never rode before, maybe this is something you can go check out. Battle for First Chair, Pinpin movie on Amazon Prime, and make sure you pay some homage. Film your stuff.
It's trying to inspire other folks to get into the sport.
Yeah.
One guy that's now our friend saw the film, was so inspired, came out and put in the time in line, multiple days with us to be on that first chair for multiple resorts.
Right.
Like we were talking about the album earlier, that was a film-inspired album. So really neat to see other folks take over with their talents and explore those.
Heck yeah. Well, we're going to get into a final block of music. I want to say thank you, gentlemen, for coming by. Please, again, Tom, let's just give socials away, social media stuff away. I don't want your social security, Nate. Yeah, I do. But, just make sure I just told them where to find Battle for the First Chair on Amazon Prime, but you can also, there's a YouTube link, and then there's also hard copies you can get. I know you said there was 1,000 copies of those.
Going fast, but yeah, if you search trailertom snowboard pinball just about anywhere, you'll find me, but that is my Instagram handle as well. trailertom snowboard pinball, underscores thrown in there randomly. And Nate is Nate 4G, so that's NATE, the number 4GS.
And I'm going back to, I've got 1,100 followers, but I only follow 117.
10%.
10% rule. Yeah, as far as that trailertom, Pinpin 20, Amazon Prime, all that fun stuff. We out there. Reach out to us. We definitely, respond to messages and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, make sure to be checking out your local movie theaters around August. It starts to pick up. I know the absinthe films are coming earlier and earlier every year, but looking forward to the next Pinpin movie. Any teasers or anything else like that?
For a sequel to the film, a script has been written. Filming has begun. So when this would be released, don't know. Could be years in the future, but...
Are we getting TT-119 and Red Ice back in at all?
TT-119 Red Ice will be back along with new characters. We'll learn a little bit more about what Pinpin is.
And why he's mapping the universe.
And who is good, who is bad.
That's what we want to know. I'm still stuck. I as a comic book guy, the person in the red and black is usually the villain, but he's a human, so I'm kind of tied. I don't want to go with the alien, but also the humans kind of...
Who are you rooting for? The aliens, the humans,
the
machines?
robots? Yeah. Jonathan.
I'm rooting for our listeners tonight because I feel like they've gotten a pretty amazing show. This is way more than I expected. So I also want to say thank you for just inviting me, and then just hanging out and just talking to me about your passions and what you guys do. It shows in the work. And just in case anybody is listening and couldn't grab a pen fast enough for the gobbledygook that is their social media handles. Where can they can get a replay of this program? Is that correct? How can somebody hear this show, the recording of this show after, if they want to go back and double check and make sure, like, oh, I didn't have a pen?
So SoundCloud, and just type in Krusher Jones, and we post every show, and then we will break it down in some parts. Sometimes maybe we'll get the segments broken down, but I know that trailertom will also be using some of that audio. But SoundCloud, Krusher Jones.
Nice.
Looking forward to it.
All right, guys.
Thanks, listener.
Well, yeah, thanks for coming in, guys. And
thanks for having us.
You have an open invitation.
Well, we will be back.
Yeah, we'll be stoked for next year.
I'll come back every week if you want. I'm bored as can be. I don't mind chatting up the world.
And then jamming some good music, because I know Nate and I are in here loving it. We're the same era, same style of music. So I know it'll all fit. You're always welcome, man. Anytime you want to come, just come by. Mics are always open. Just like having Julia come in and Jonathan is open. So
fun.
You're part of the culture. You're more than welcome to come. And big ups to Rob Bach out there in Sayulitas. Sayulitas. I should know how to say that. Well, thanks for coming, guys. Again, you're listening to Krusher Show 107